Water comes to shore, one ripple after another. 1,000 fish catching light beneath the rising sun. Tired of air, feet in the hollow of a billion mouths that blindly swallow. Felt in the rush of the ordinary, in impulse we hope to bury. A world that mastered less for more, running fast to lose its soul. Fast, faster, always more, a thirst that never learns its full. Things no longer what they seem, sweat stitched deep into the seams. Rivers learn to carry shame for things that never knew our names. Desire fed on borrowed light, but abundance needs no fight. What is taken leaves no trace, what is shared returns in grace. Oh, we didn't come here to buy, we came to grow what doesn't die. Turn our spending into seeds. When together you are free, from passing once to lasting time. Names upon this land, the ground our elders taught to stand. They learned to look far ahead, sharing the value of the lives they led. We became the way we knew, the truth we learned by seeing through. And as our table served the swell, we knew we'd all be eating well. We turn our actions into seeds, give them time, let them breathe. With a path, a reason why our hearts fill the sky. Nothing lasts beyond the tide, except faith in the lasting light. Carrying belief through open hands, no value washed away in the sand. What we release into the world returns to us as whole in time. Oh, we didn't come here to buy, we came to grow what doesn't die. Turn our spending into seeds. When together you are free, from passing once to lasting ties. We didn't come here to buy, we came to grow what doesn't die. We traded quick sighs for deep signs, reaction learned to bow to time. We stopped wasting what passed through us and built the things that asked to last. We traded hurry for stillness, scarcity for sight, returning value to the circle, to the soil, to the light. What we consume becomes a bond, what we believe outlives the song. What we align around with care is what the future stands on. There are no easy paths, no endings carved in stone. Only that when value's created, it never does alone. There is no moon without you. Why'd you?
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back and I am excited. Hello, everybody. I'm speaking to you live from beautiful and not so warm today, Florida, believe it or not. I'm here with Linny. She's not with me right now in the room, but she likes the song and I salute her. Hello, everybody. How are you guys doing? From wherever you are in the world, absentiste, Loves it, and he is in. Hello, everybody. Magnifique, Pierre. I hope you guys saw yourselves. We got loads of little pictures of all the different Nomu community members in the intro. We're going to keep updating it. I haven't yet inputted the pictures of our last meetup in Paris from a couple of weeks ago. But if you feel like you should be there in that intro and you have not seen your picture, please go bother Theo. He will sort it out for you. With that being said, hello, Theo, who's also, of course, listening to us. We got Simon in the house, Clément Roll. Clément, who had one of the most impressive wine collections from our last Divin sale shown public. It was a beautiful garden as well. We had a Chateau d'Yquem. We're going to speak about all of this in a little bit. Sander says hello. And nice. Valentin is in the house too. We've got a lot of people here already. Carlos, how are you, sir? Times are tough, but the vibes in here are good, which is what we love to see. Steve as well. Hello, sir. I got updates for you too. Glad you're here with us, joining us. Analyst Joseph, of course, many, many more. I fortunately can't get through all of you, but go into the chat. If you're listening to this and you're not in the chat yet, what are you even doing? This is where the vibes are at. This is where the fun is at. Theo also says hi. Go either to YouTube or on X and put your name down, say hello, meet the lovely community members and one of the most joyous and resilient communities in Web3, full stop. So welcome to all of you who are here. Today is a special day. Why? Because things are changing incredibly fast in the landscape that we're in. And I want to showcase you today a few things that I haven't told anybody yet publicly. This might be, in terms of actual information, one of the most dense, alpha-packed open kitchens I've done in a while. That's why it also took a while to do it. I think we're going to do these perhaps less frequently, but when they happen, they come and pack a punch. So let me show you as well a new format today where you're going to see none of this weird two-screen. It all happens with the same screen. Thanks to AI these days, you can now code slideshows. They don't have to be PowerPoints or Google Slides, which makes it much more interactive and fun. And before we go into the novelties of Nomu today, which there's lots, I'm going to tell you today about brand new products that we haven't released yet. Essentially, the future of what Nomu will look like in a coming year or so. I want to bring it back 1 second to have everybody be on the same page of what's actually going on today, not only in the markets, which, you know, it's bearish and a lot of uncertainty, the war, etc. I'm not here to speak about geopolitics, macro, and how that affects the market, but really I want to speak to you about what happens in tech and how every single company, not only Nomu, but every other Web3 company out there that you hold a token of, or there's no token, or any other tech company full stop that you use, is fundamentally changing how it operates, how it thinks about the future, and how it develops its way forward. It's a very, at the same time, scary and exciting time. But the paradigm of how we build companies in the last cycle, even let's say 2 years ago, has completely shifted. And it's happening so fast right now with the upcoming of cloud code agents and all the things you can do with it, that even ourselves, we have to continuously question our assumptions, and things that we said 2 months ago already now might not be relevant anymore or might have to be questioned. It is happening extremely fast, and I want to be able to break it down for you so you can come back all in the same place and understand what's actually happening, how that affects you, how it affects us, and how we're going to move forward, and hopefully can help you as well doing so. So essentially, the moment in time we are in is one where the fundamentals of software development itself are being questioned. Things that used to take weeks to do can now be done in minutes, and the whole value of generating software is collapsing under our eyes. This is the same way you can imagine renting a movie at a movie store when Netflix came out, newspapers when the internet came out, retail stores like H&M, Zara, when Amazon came out. All of those companies that didn't pivot into what came next died, essentially. Blockbuster in the US with Netflix, a bunch of newspapers when the internet came out. So this is essentially the same moment that's happening right now for software engineering. And us being a tech company and the whole space being a tech space, despite being crypto and underneath it's all tech, it changes pretty much everything. So I should be able to scroll here. Let me see if this works. There we go. You guys might know Naval. He's one of the most famous influencing people in software and technology. He's a bit of a guru in Silicon Valley. And he already coined the term that software has been eaten by AI. And essentially, as I was saying, everything has been commoditized pretty much already. Like the value of developing unique software is pretty low. So even what that means for you specifically with a token, if there's a company that's a pure software company, and I'm going to give you the most extreme example, the example of an app. Right now, with what we already are able to do with agents, we have to ask ourselves fundamental questions of like, how long will we keep using apps? What apps are defensible in the future? I'll give you a silly example. If you take booking.com, how much longer will you keep using the interface of booking.com, not just you, but everybody else, rather than just asking your ChatGPT, your Google AI agent, your Apple AI agent once it's actually live on your phone, of just, hey, just which hotels are the best in London for that day, book me the one that I prefer, and it does it for you. So the whole interface, where right now the value lays in the way companies communicate with people, including Nomu ourselves, all of this is getting completely cannibalized by AI. And so it demands that as a company, we completely rethink how we speak to community members, to clients, customers, every single company, and how much is our user interface defensible, and how much would it be eaten by AI. I will show you what I mean with this in a tangible example. So I spoke earlier about newspapers and retail, and essentially here's what happens roughly in terms of finance when these shifts happen. This is not a new thing. Like software being collapsed right now is not a hypothesis, it is happening, and it has happened before in other industries. So newspapers, when the internet first came out, so in the early 2000s, the average newspaper, so the Wall Street Journal, New York Times, Le Monde, wherever you are in the world, with public companies, were trading roughly at 13x free cash flow. Trading at free cash flow, simply, very broadly speaking, means trading at multiples of revenue. So in this year, 13 years into the future, that's what you pay for the stock price of that company. Once the internet came in, now newspapers, the ones that survive, are trading at 5x cash flow, which means that the market is essentially saying, the bet I'm willing to take on this company is maximum paying 5 years of revenue, because beyond 5 years, I'm not sure that revenue will hold. Retail happened something similar. It went from a 15x before Amazon. So here you have Sears, JCPenney, Toys R Us, which we all know collapsed. All those public companies were trading at 15 X multiples, and now they're trading at, again, 5x multiples. So again, 5 year max projections. Today, the S&P 500, which is the broad American index, at least for technology, is roughly trading at 20 to 30x multiples in terms of free cash flow for this revenue. So essentially, when you buy a Tesla stock at the price that it is, Nvidia stock, and you're paying 20, 30x revenues, it means that you're betting on the future growth over the next 20, 30 years, at least they'd be able to sustain current price over the next 20, 30 years for you to break even if you were just in terms of dividends sharing or liquidation pricing, etc. So the question we had to ask ourselves, if software is about to cannibalize the entire technology market and the entire economy is riding on technology stocks, to what degree is this defensible, and what will this imply for the economy? Luckily, if AI were to disrupt these companies, less of these companies will build AI, so there'll be some natural equilibrium. But my main point here is that moats, essentially defensible points for your company that you thought existed in terms of having a nice interface, of having a nice app, all of those things are going away very, very quickly. So here's how it kind of works, like how this new paradigm in terms of user journey is actually coming across. Right now, what's going to happen in the near future is that, and we're already seeing it internally at Nomu, the way we do things, because Nomu is very quickly shifting towards an AI-first company internally. So the way the whole workflow works, we have a Nomu brain that Ryan is building out. The things how we operate day to day is changing fundamentally. And essentially it's changing right now to a point where the apps that we're referencing internally, so this could have been in the past dashboards, it could have been Dune, or it could have been even Jupyter prices. We're now just asking the AI agents, so it can be OpenClaw, it can be your Claude Code, it can be your Codex on ChatGPT, whatever you're really using, to just, hey, do this for me. The AI agent does it for you, and then it comes back with the end result, and you never went to that app, you never went to the UI. So, wait, it dropped? You guys can't see me? Wait, can you know if you can still see me? I'm assuming you can see me. Okay. So this is really what is changing right now. And so specifically speaking, when we spoke about building our own neobank app in the future, we're actually not sure if the neobank app is what needs to be built. So let me tell you what we're doing about this and what is defensible in the future, what companies, broadly speaking, in the market can protect. And okay, Theo says, yes, he can see me. Great. So what is it that can actually protect in a world of AI? In a world of AI, here's what we define for Nomu as things that we can protect into the future and keep value within our ecosystem and not being leaked out and just being destroyed. Because you see, like on Twitter, to give you the clearest way you can actually see this on Twitter is if you just look at any given moment, you'll see 35 posts of Claude just released a new update, and it just killed another 100 startups that were doing the whole business was this feature that Anthropic, Claude, or ChatGPT just released. So what are the things that are defensible against Claude, against ChatGPT into the future? Well, it's essentially the combination, the lucky position that Nomu is in between having software as a service for real world applications and value chains. One is, of course, the supply chains we're building. So whether it's the monkey plushies or the wine that you just saw, we are building a whole infrastructure to get real world products to you via Web3 payments, which, believe it or not, is not something that many companies have done, if at all, at scale. It's going to be one of the first times that you can just buy with a crypto wallet, redeem with a crypto wallet. It's being secure, it's being private, and you then receiving a physical good anywhere in the world from any warehouse in the world to your doorstep. So building up the manufacturing relationships, the physical supply chains, warehousing all across the world, essentially what you would call the Amazon logistics of this business, is incredibly valuable, because whether it's us or any other company, even an AI agent in the future, they will require such a supply chain, at least for the foreseeable future, until AI would be able to build their own supply chains. But we're definitely not there yet. So having physical supply chain infrastructure being built out, which is what we do a lot behind the scenes, and it's something that you guys never get to see because it's the uncharming part of the business. It's just building out warehouses. Where do things go? How do we ship them? How do you deal with VAT compliance across Europe, sales taxes in the US? All of that thing is something that we're getting very good at, and we're going to be able to leverage into the future. The second one is, of course, the brand itself. If everybody can just ship a website in minutes and everybody can just ship an app, the ones that you're going to trust is the values of the brand that you actually trust already. So I'm going to take Swissborg as an example, because a lot of us are Swissborg community members here as well and love using their app. So let's say even if the Swissborg app will become commoditized and recreating a new Swissborg app becomes very, very quickly, the trust that you have fundamentally in the Swissborg app is still based upon its brand and what the brand represents, the history of it, the people behind it, the values they have. So that's something that's very defendable, and it's something that we're putting a lot of effort into as well, that makes sure that the Nomu brand is seen in the right way, and that's something that we all can relate to very quickly, very, very strongly. So that's pretty much an obvious one. Products in the physical world as well. This is related to supply chain. So being able to ship wine, doing the monkey boo-boos, that's strong IP that's definitely defensible, and that AI agents might be able to buy for you, but that's the final product that you want to buy. So having products that people want and desire, the classic e-commerce tale of all time, very, very strong. And lastly is the distribution, which is all of us here today in the core. Having a community behind that is a combination of all the other three, of being, if this company speaks, these people listen and they believe in it, and there's a common symbiosis of community and brand, which is the core of the business or normal business, then that's also something very defensible. So you see, the valuable things of a company in the future are no longer the code or the algorithm. Those things are getting commoditized incredibly fast, and the value is trending towards zero very fast. However, what is valuable is having these physical and intangible things like a brand, like a distribution, products and supply chains being optimized by your software on top. And so there's this new term that's coming about, which is a software as a service, which is the SaaS, which is all the subscriptions you pay. They're essentially dying because you can just recreate it. However, the new era that this is ushering is service as a software. So the ability to use that software and provide a service through AI, through the distribution. So people coming to us and us giving them an actual service empowered by AI. That's really where the next crux is going to be at. And you want to bet on companies that have understood this shift. So let me tell you what this means for Nomu. It's very tangibly. What it means is that the first thing that's clear is that we can't think 3 to 5 years out anymore. That's impossible. Long-term thinking for companies is getting very hard because you just don't know what's going to happen. If I'm planning right now to build an app in 2 years' time, that app might be completely obsolete by that time. Luckily, AI allows us to ship much, much faster, so the time spans are also contracting. So right now, companies need to shift their strategic focus from long-term to could be several years, quarters ahead of time, to the next 2-3 quarters max. It means that we're going to build out these new verticals with real defensible verticals against AI, and not being something that AI can consume, but rather, or like being eaten by AI, but something indeed that can be leveraged by AI. So it's something that the AI wants to use at the end, so the value still comes back to our ecosystem. But stuff like building just a software marketplace, if we just build like a new Amazon, it makes zero sense. We need to think much, much clearer. So the next part of this exercise is going to be very quickly we'll do a very quick recap on the Deviant exercise because I haven't spoken about it, and then take these learnings and show you how we're now creating an AI defensible company in the future and what that means with the brand new products. So I'm going to fly over this very quickly because the Deviant sale, we've all seen it. I just want to showcase some of the beautiful images of our community members. You might recognize yourselves in these images that have shared. The first few wine bottles have arrived all around Europe. I think Switzerland is still pending, but that's just a question of the supply chain. It takes longer to Switzerland because you need to, the bottles are getting shipped from France. So if you're in France or in the EU, it's very quick. If it needs to cross the Swiss border because it's not in the EU, it takes a bit longer. Customs, etc., need to be applied. So just know that the bottles are on the way. You can see here Clément with his beautiful collection, but also Pierre, Eric, Absentiste, Gusa, and Sander. They all got their wines already, among many, many more. These are just some of the pictures that were posted. Thank you for sending them to us. It's been a really, really cool exercise, and I wanted to show you quickly the learnings that we got from it. So this exercise really was the very first time that any company has attempted to do a blind box or RWA sale on Web3 that is a consumable. So it's not something just like a plush, or it's not a trading card. It's actually something you consume, in this case, fine wine. And the numbers, to be really honest with you, I expected to do roughly $100,000 of GMV, which is just gross merchandise value, so total volume of the exercise. We got shy of that by about 30%. It's okay. Of course, there's some things that we can't control, like the market being really, really tough. Like if you look at Twitter, everything is completely dead. It's really, really rough times. Yet, if we try to relativize this, $70,000 of sales is pretty much what a very big wine store would do in the real world. So we still managed to compete in 2 weeks with some of the biggest wine stores that dedicated themselves to the craft of selling wine. So it's ultimately still a very good confirmation that we are onto something. What certainly has been disappointing is the conversion we expected to get through Deviant, and having not been able to touch the core of their community to come over. So for Deviant instance, just about 50% of all users, which we have about 100 unique buyers, so roughly only 50 guys to be completely specific, really came over from Deviant to buy a bottle at Nomu. The other learning that was disappointing from the exercise, that we realized that the Web3 part is much, much more fun than the Web2. And unfortunately, it's not something that we can fix very quickly. There's ways of doing it, but it's mostly a regulatory thing. So on Web3, as you know, you can buy the bottle, you can resell it. And that dynamic of just it being quick and easy, of I see what I get. If I don't like it, I try again. And the opportunity cost is just the difference in price, which is a fraction of the actual price, makes it much more fun to play around with it. Whereas on Web2, we're not able to do that, because if you buy a bottle of wine with fiat money, let's say with euros, and then we allow you to get a refund, which we would typically do in USDC, because that's what you pay with actually, then that would be an onboarding onto crypto. So we'd have to issue credits, and that's fine, it's doable, but it just takes a bit more time. So it's good learning, something we're going to take into the future. And the next time we do a blind box, the Web2 part is one of the big things we need to optimize. But ultimately, the crux of it is, the beautiful thing is that we managed to do $70,000 of sales out of 100 people, which is incredible on a per persona scale. The disappointing thing is that it was only 100 net buyers. So it's the same issue that every company faces right now. But really, the way we're going to now create this forward is we're going to try and my ambition personally as a sales guy in the company is to now find a Web2 partner. For instance, one of the companies that we're looking at is Le Petit Ballon in France, which is a wine club, completely Web2 wine club in French Europe, and creating a special drop with them, a monthly subscription basis based on this fine wine exercise. We know it works. We've proven the model. So if you now can get more partners on top, not just Devin, but people with companies with a big Web2 distribution, that's going to be very, very bullish for us. The other great thing to finish on this on is that all the Web2 users have gotten their rewards in Nomu tokens. So we have onboarded a bunch of people onto Web3 through this exercise, through the Soulflare wallet. So if you paid on Web2, you would have received an email that tells you, hey, you got rewards waiting for you. And you could get them. So that Web2 flow really, really worked. And ultimately, it was a pretty good exercise, lots of learnings, and we're going to take that into the future. Now, the critical part is that the next drop of Nomu will most likely not be a blind box. So that's the big news to start with. When we're going to talk about what's next, we need to move fast. We need to adapt based on our learnings. And the blind box, the gacha mechanism of the blind box was always one vertical, was the initial wedge into the market. So an initial gap that we found to place ourselves in there. When we launched it with MonkeyDAO, Collector Crypt, Fidgetals, all the Solana companies were doing great numbers in blind boxes. Since the bear market has obviously have died as well, they haven't done any big ones since roughly the December, which is when we launched ours. So everybody we were the last ones doing a blind box now with Devin. No one's really done one since. So the market's really shifting, and I think there's great opportunity for doing that in the future, and we proved things, but it is clearly not what we, A, want to be, and 2, can rely on for future revenue at the company. And since we are bootstrapped, we don't have the luxury of layer 1 blockchains who have hundreds of millions of dollars in the treasury of just doing nothing. We need to keep iterating very, very fast and be very mindful of how we're going to generate revenue for the company, which ultimately means revenue for all token holders as well through the buyback mechanisms of the products we sell. Here's the first big slide. We today are going to announce 2 new product verticals, Nomu Launch and Nomu Stores. And I'm going to speak to you about both. And underlying, there's a brand new company that has been created that's called Nomu Works. It's part now of our corporate structure. So we have the company that we've been working until now, which is more on the Web3 side. Nomu Works will have nothing to do with the Web3 side. Nomu Works, its only sole business is developing in-house products. So if you're an OG NFT holder, you're going to be very happy about this, because it is essentially the products of the Nomu Works company that are being developed by the Nomu Works company that eventually will give you the eligibility as an OG NFT holder to share part of the upside that is happening through these product sales. So that company's only purpose is to create and distribute really cool products. It has nothing to do with Web3, but through the corporate structure that we're creating, that's kind of the mechanism that we do. In the middle, there's the marketplace. So Nomu Works essentially will act as a seller, the same way that MonkeyDAO was a seller or Devin was a seller, and the current company will keep operating the marketplace. So let me first tell you about Nomu Launch, which is the most imminent and relevant one right now. Nomu Launch will essentially be our Kickstarter. Not in the sense that you can back projects and crowdfund them, but you can pre-buy projects, and it's specific products. It's not a blind box. It's something you want, you pre-order it, and as a thank you for pre-ordering a product, giving the first revenue to the company, allowing that company to produce the product thanks to your payment, you will then get a shared upside that is dependent on the different sellers, what they decide to offer you. But essentially, if you guys remember when I first mentioned shareback, we're now going to make this very easy to understand of what this means. Companies will compete not on price and on discounts given, but on value given back to you as the product sells. And the big thing is that this value is not a discount that you get once or a cashback that you get once. It is truthfully uncapped into the future. And what I mean with that is that some companies can really do, like if you look here at Project Aurora, for instance, these are obviously all just examples, but they can say like early buyers will get 10% for life. And that's truly is uncapped for life. But even if you do something like a Hydro Flask, they'll be like, okay, you get 8% of future sales, of revenue of sales for 2 years. And we don't know how much they're going to sell within those 2 years, but the more they sell within those 2 years, the more you'll get. So we're going to leave each company to be able to define their own terms, but it's going to be very simple for you to understand what you get from each project. And so when you buy a product, you're going to buy more than just the product. That's the beginning. As you buy the product, as you participate in, as the product succeeds, based on your participation and the product success, you will now be able to win together with the product. And that's really the beauty of what we're trying to create. And so now it's going to become more clear than ever before that how this is going to materialize. And the next launch, what we're planning right now, is one that is going to go with this model. We might do a blind box before, not the exact timing, we're not sure, but this is now actually one of the top priorities internally that we are developing. And Ryan, Matt, Tidiane, everybody is currently strongly on this. So this is very, very exciting. And I want to show you today the first product that we are internally developing that is going to reflect back to OGs as a part, and that for which the reason that we created Normal Works for. So before I do that, let me just warn you that the product I'm about to show you is, here we go. Carlos loves Uncapped. If you have questions, by the way, because I'm going through a lot of things here, I'll ask them now, and we have an AMA afterwards. I'll keep him for later, but do feel free to ask him. I will look at the comments as I do go through this. What I'm really excited to you right now is to show you the first products that OG holders will be reflected back to. And I need to give you a warning for it, because it is, I can guarantee that none of you, I mean, I looked at the message over the last few days on Telegram, none of you were even close to guessing it. Even now in the chat, it's no, we're close. It's a very unique product, but I want to explain to you how we look at product development and how we choose the products, because it's not just as simple as saying, let's do socks. I'm going to explain to you why, and here's how it starts. So the first product that Normal Works, the brand new company within the Normal structure, is going to work on is something called Ballmate. And I'm going to explain to you what Ballmate is in just one tiny second. The key, what Normal Works is, just by the way, because I mentioned it earlier, but what it will do is the design, the manufacturing, the launching via Normal, the platform, and then if the product succeeds, it will be like Ballmate, and all the future products that we're going to create at Normal Works are going to be standalone brands. So it's not going to be Ballmate like a normal company. It's going to be Ballmate. Like we want them, the product itself needs to be very, very strong for this to succeed. But just being part of Normal is not strong enough. You'll see powered by Normal, something like this, but there will be independent brands and IPs that we will create. And essentially, really Normal Works acts as this startup studio or this product studio that we're implementing. We have a team in China that's helping the manufacturing, the design with the manufacturing companies. We're going to launch it through Normal, and then we're going to scale it on its own. And those future sales everything will always come back to Normal because it's part of the same ecosystem. But really, the future we see at Normal is that we have this platform that all sorts of companies can come to and sell, but we also have our own Normal Works studio that creates all these other companies that we believe in. And in this time of fast iteration, of endless opportunities, this is really where the crux is, and we can do a lot of beautiful things. So Ballmate is going to be the first example of this. And let me show you what the thinking behind such a product looks like. So how we pick products, it's very, very important, because there's something I believe very strongly about, which is a sweet spot for product development. When you're a new company and creating a new product. So it's one thing if you are a Nike and you have a brand and you can just create a new pair of shoes and people will love it, they will buy it just because you are Nike and you have the distribution. But when you're creating something new, you want to find that perfect middle ground between having a product category that people are aware of. So people know this product exists, and so the market has validated this product as a product, and there's demand. We can feel it. You know it because you've spoken about the product, but you're not aware of the brand that does it yet. So it's a high product aware market that has zero brand awareness market. So what does this look like tangibly? One of the thanks to Linny, my beautiful girlfriend, she introduced me to World of Pilates. And now I know what Pilates is. I didn't know much about it before, but I'm now all the wiser. And when you do Pilates, I'm not sure if many of the guys here have done it, but it's actually great for your body. So think about Pilates one day. Don't just go to the gym. It's great to stretch. It's great to work all sorts of muscles, but you often need sticky socks because you are, especially when you're in the machine, you might slip otherwise and it can be dangerous. So the Pilates socks have like sticky rubber bits underneath. And it's a market that today weighs several of tens of millions of dollars in like only last year, and it's growing exponentially. But there's no such a thing as a Aloe sock, which is a great brand, like or Nike Pilates, like give me those Nike socks. People don't know aware of the product yet. Whereas the counter example would be on the MacBook, you wouldn't just say, hey, give me my computer. You'd say, hey, give me my MacBook, and everybody understands. Or the craziest example, of course, is, hey, why don't you just Google it? Instead of why don't you just search it on the internet? Hey, Google it. So those are, when you say Google it, the Google has such a strong brand presence that going in as a new entrant and trying to disrupt the incumbent is very, very hard. However, when you're in a market like Pilates socks, where you know there's demand for that product, but no company, no brand has yet been able to establish itself as a leader, that's where you want to go at. And so we looked at different niche markets that make a lot that happen to have this characteristic, and we picked the first one, which I'm actually very excited about because I'm a customer of this market. But my point is, before I show you what it is now, which is the next slide, critically, we can't just release socks or we can't just release toilet paper. That just having a normal toilet paper is something that the same 50 people that are every day on Telegram, or the same 500 people that are in the normal community would buy, great, and would have 500 people buying normal toilet paper because it's normal. But there's no value added. What we need to create is products that can create millions of dollars of sales, and that's how we scale. Just copying products and putting our logo on it is not a tangible way of moving forward, or efficient way. So let me show you what BallMate is. And here's how you can find this product aware but no brand aware market. So this is real data from Google Trends. And I looked at the following metrics to identify this product. I looked at, if you guys do saunas, I love doing a sauna. It's great for your health overall. It's great to relax. You can see that this is the gray line here. It's a growing market year after year. So it spikes, of course, in European winter, in the northern hemisphere winter, but you can see every year it grows. This at the end here is just because the newest data is incomplete, so it tapers down, but you can see that it keeps growing. And then I looked at something else, which is sauna fertility and sauna ice packs. Why? Because over the recent year, we've seen a lot of the big gurus on the internet, so Brian Johnson being the biggest one, but Andrew Huberman as well, and some other doctors around the world being like, hey, sauna as men is great for you. However, what it's not great at is for your boys, your balls, essentially. Why? Because the same way that when you heat up you put your laptop on your lap, the heat of the radiation, but also the heat of the laptop is very bad for your fertility as a man because it heats up your testicles. And the sauna does the same thing. It's great for the cardiovascular system. You sweat out the toxins, but it heats up your testicles more than it should. And so for a guy like me who wants to become a future dad, and for everybody else who still wants to have high fertility and high testosterone rates, going to the sauna can actually be detrimental for you because you heat up recurrently your testicles with a 90-degree chamber, which is very bad for them. So you can see that here's something that has spiked in interest very recently over the last 6 months, really. So in the crux of this influx point, and there's no real product that addresses this yet. And there's no such a thing as an obvious solution. Wait, I want to go to sauna and be safe about my testicles. Well, here's a product. So it's a very niche product that we're going to create, and we're going to call this BallMate. I'm not going to show you right now the mock-ups because they're not ready yet, but we are currently in the design and execution phase of the first samples and testing for that Normal Works undertakes. And it's essentially going to be a very simple pouch that's going to be super high grade, safe for your skin, where you can fill with cold water. You just slip it underneath your underwear, you put it on top of your towel, or just put it directly on there, and it will keep your testicles cold whilst you go to a sauna. It's a very simple product. Super easy to understand, and it's a great niche that no one is working on yet. The opportunity, if we execute great on this, is that Bourmate could become the leader of this new product category, and at a very reasonable price point, which currently we're expecting to be between $20 and $30. If you manage to sell about $30,000-$40,000 of these units, which is a lot, but not that much either, you can create a multi-million-dollar company very quickly from this. So these are kind of the moonshots that NomoWorks, our own studio, will create. This will be the first product that also will give value back to OG NFTs, because it's something we do internally. So you see, it's nothing to do with Nomu, but the distribution of so when you pre-buy that product first on Nomu, you will get a revenue share. That revenue share is paid on Nomu tokens, and as an OG NFT, you are a partner for this drop. But ultimately, once the pre-sale is over on Nomu, we will have a standalone Bourmate site, socials, whole strategy for execution, and we're going to find a product manager, which at the beginning is going to be me, but later down the line is going to be a new person that's going to own the brand and whose only job is to scale the company forward. So Nomu will really become this universe of new products, and right now it's this very niche product, but in the future it can be something completely else. To give you a bit of like secret alpha, internally we've been talking about Tamagotchis, we've been talking about of course apparel and all different sort of product ranges, but this is just to show you how creative things can get and how exciting ultimately they can be. So I know this is something that no one expected, but you're gonna have to trust me on this one and see what we can do with it. It's very, very exciting, and this is the moment early on we can experiment. And ultimately, you as a new Nomu community member and as an OG NFT holder and as a Nomu token holder, you essentially are part of this whole ecosystem. So whatever brand we create, it's going to be part of the underlying Nomu structure. And this is also an open invitation for you guys to come forward and give us your ideas and your brands. If you see yourself as, hey, I always had this crazy idea of this crazy product. Carlos says, you have balls, Danny. So it's indeed a niche, but this really it's supposed to show you guys what's possible. So if you had a crazy idea that you have strong conviction in, and you thought like, why has no one ever done this? This is clearly one of those products that I could make a difference in because of my background, because of what the market is at, the interest that's growing. Come to us, come to Theo, come to myself on Telegram, and we can help you create, distribute, and sell your product through Nomu and grow that brand. And it could go from a side hustle or something you want to dedicate your life to. But this is what Nomu is really made for. This is the beauty of it. And we want to showcase you what's really possible by taking a very crazy example, but I truly believe in that. I would use this product every single time I go to the sauna, which is about whenever I can, about 5 times a week. So I go to it a lot, and I know that all the other guys I'm in there, they speak about the same thing. So this is a great product to test this with. And it's an invitation for you guys to come forward and be like, Danny, you know what? You crazy bastard. I also have a crazy idea. Here's what I want to do. And Nomu has now the infrastructure from manufacturing to design work to implementing it to helping you on the compliance side to really execute your vision. And not just you, but the friends you know as well. And we're going to create a referral program for it, so you can refer as your friends if they want to launch with us. But this is really now the beginning of the era of Nomu opening up to the world. Our products, your products, all within a platform that's going to be Nomu Launch. So that brings me to the second point and a second big product vertical we're building out. Once you have launched your product, we will help you create your own Nomu store. And we're going to do that for Bourmate, and we're going to do that for some of the biggest Web3 companies in the space as well. What is a Nomu store? Well, the Nomu store is essentially what you can imagine Kickstarter, Shopify being for the Web2 world, but we're going to create the first one that is Web3 native. And why is Web3 native important here? Not because Web3 is in any way, shape, or form superior. It's because when you have a Web3 native store, well, first of all, you have a great niche in Web3 to create better experiences for e-commerce. Because right now, if you look at all the experiences in Web3, they're awful. Essentially just a Solana Pay connected with a Stripe to a Shopify template. It's terrible. We can create a brand new experience that's going to make buying Web3 products and being a Web3 user significantly better. Let me show you what this looks like. And so we'll do this for ourselves. We'll do this for you guys if you have ideas, and we'll do it for all our future partners. But this is the product that's going to act as much as Bormate and sauna protection for testicles is a moonshot, and it might do extremely well, and we might be able to do millions of dollars of sales if it works, and if we execute like we should. There's no guarantee, of course. So we also need to create now a sustainable base of revenue to scale the product, the brand Nomu, and the team and everything we do. And for that, the Symbiosis is becoming this service as a software company that will essentially enable a white glove Shopify experience for Web3 native companies. And right now we're speaking to the biggest names in the game to be the official supplier for their future storefronts. So from Jupiter to Soulflow to MonkeyDAO, there's a lot of interest that we're currently collecting. We have a bunch of hot leads. And essentially what we're going to be able to do for them is create a storefront where you can do things that you never be able to do before, such as token gate at the drop. You need to have a specific NFT, let's say, to be able to access that product. Or you get a discount if you have a wallet that has done this much transaction volume on this token, or you hold that token. If your wallet is this old, or if you have done certain actions, if you collected an airdrop. So there's a whole new loyalty mechanisms of how we can modulate e-commerce based on your wallets, beyond payments as well, of course, that we can just pay with your wallets and you can receive it. You don't need to ever use a credit card. All of the things that are very, very cool. It's going to be film native. You're never going to realize what's happening in the background. Essentially, like you got an early taste on Deviant, but now truly making that a full storefront. And beyond that, also the white glove part of it is what I just mentioned before, which is also the ability to help these companies create products, manufacture them, store them, and deliver them to the end user, so that you as a company just have to be the creative genius behind the brand. Tell us what you want. We help you find the right manufacturers. We help you get in touch with them, get the best quotes, be compliant around the world, and ship those products out to your end customers and create a great experience for them wherever they are in the world, and especially if they're Web3 native as well. So that's the service part, which what I meant earlier. Software itself is getting eaten, and just creating a new Shopify, it's going to be very, very easy in the future. However, creating a new Shopify where you have the service as well that's connected to, I want to create this product. Here's the manufacturer that can do it to you. Here's the fastest way to get a quote, to get a sample. Here's how you can get compliant. We have the warehouse logistics, the facilities. We take care of the taxes. All of those things combined, that's a true service that a company would have to spend a lot of man-hour time, and not just something that AI can do. Like speaking to manufacturers, you still need to speak to the manufacturer right now. There's not such a thing that an agent can do it for you. You need to have local presence in China. The warehousing is physical. So there's a lot of things that we combine together into this white glove service for you to really create your own brand and to be legal from day one. And that's what Nomu stores will become. So that's a subscription-based service where we're still going to sell. And of course, within the stores, you can have like normal e-commerce of products that just exist. You can have products that are special drops with upside sharing. You can have pre-sales. You can have blind boxes. So the whole Nomu suite comes together now in these storefronts. And that's ultimately something that's very, very attractive. And when we started gathering early interest from companies, all of these companies seem to be interested. So that's going to be the base of the future revenue and how we're going to go for our first $1 million in annual recurring revenue through this storefront. So all in all, now Nomu will have three distinct engines. Right now we have the Nomu Gacha, which is the blind boxes that you've seen so far with Deviant, with MonkeyDAO, and here we were competing with people like Courtyard. And roughly right now, what we've generated in the first 3 months is $100,000 of gross revenue, but that also includes partner revenue, so MonkeyDAO revenue, Deviant revenue, and we keep our share, of course. But it's not it's a lot, to be honest, but it's not that much either. So right now it's 100% of our revenue. Now we're going to launch Nomu Launch, which is going to be the Kickstarter-like product. Bormate being the very first product that we're going to do in-house, which is also going to be great for OG NFTs. And then later on, we're also going to launch Nomu Stores, who again, Bormate will showcase everybody how this works start to finish. And we're going to onboard some of the biggest Web3 companies as well on that. So the future looks very, very different for us. The way we're going to shift it is that actually in the future, we estimate that Nomu Gacha, the Nomu Gacha products, so the blind boxes, will only represent a very small part of the total revenue of the company. We are going to keep doing them, but they're not the only thing we're going to do. Nomu Launch really has a potential to create a lot of great revenue for us. If one of the products succeeds, it can be game changing as a company. And Nomu stores will be the safety blanket we always have to make sure that the company keeps being lucrative, viable, independently of what Nomu launch looks like. And so that's, if you combine all three of them together, that's where you start looking at a vision that starts to resemble an Amazon of Web3. We can start finding a bit of everything, all sorts of different products, categories, niche or not niche, all combined under this idea of aligning brands and customers, of this idea of winning together, of creating unique experiences. So this is kind of the long game we want to go at. These are the first three pillars that we're going to build on. And then the next phase after that will be to some way combine them all together. This is, of course, not to say about the neobank that we want to build in the future, but that's currently, we're looking at what the app ecosystem looks like in the future, where it makes sense for us to develop an app or directly work on an agent-to-agent basis in the future if banking is going to go that way. So this today is really focused on the e-commerce side, not on the neo-banking side behind, but this is going to hopefully give you a very clear idea of what the short-term vision for Nomu looks like over the next 6 months. So how does it all fit together for the token and you as a community member? So as I said, each one of these verticals are Nomu stores, as same as Nomu launch, and of course the gacha. There is this idea of winning together with the products, pre-buying them, and having a revenue share to those pre-buys, those products. That means buying pressure for the Nomu token. And so if you're just a Nomu holder, you will perceive all of that buying pressure coming into the token. Now, big point that I mentioned in Paris live, but I've never mentioned online. The whole idea that we want with the token, though, is to go much further in the future. As soon as the legal framework allows it, the direction we are currently heading towards is that we're going to allow token holders eventually to become equity holders. I don't want to create a parallel society where there's equity and token. It is already today converging towards a path where this is getting possible. It is not straightforward yet. The legal implications are still heavy, but there seems to be a way where we can start doing it. The moment the legal framework becomes clear enough that we know that we are compliant, we will go. Just know that as a Nomu token holder, we are looking actively for you to become an equity holder. Until then, and that's why when we talk about team allocations as well, we never allocated like a private portion of the token to ourselves. We paid it ourselves. The whole team paid, just like you, the ambassadors, the token at the FDV valuation, because we truly think that eventually they're going to combine into the same round. No one's other team ever sold a token, thinking about selling a token. It just doesn't make sense, because ultimately it will, God willing and allowing, flow back into equity down the line. So just know that this is something I'm very excited about. It's something that's very dear to my heart, and where we think that the value can really go back to the token holders in a very clear way. This also will allow us, by that point, if you are essentially eventually be able to exchange your tokens for equity or whatever it might look like. It's still not clear, but once you hold equity, even the whole mechanics of necessarily needing to buy back the token no longer become relevant, because you already hold underneath the value of the company, its treasury, its IP, and everything else. So ownership tokens with MetaDAO does is the first path in this direction. Now there's better ways that can actually allow you to start tokenizing equity. This is still very risky, but the paths are drawing themselves out. So once we are able to go this path, even the Nomu token ecosystem becomes very, very clear. The value you hold becomes even more tangible. We're already ahead of the field based on what we do compared to, like, let's say 99% of crypto companies out there. But I want to keep pushing the boundaries to make sure that token holders keep having the most value possible and the clearest value possible as well. Great, guys, this is it. This is the AMA section. If you have questions, there's a lot. San asked if the ball made comes in orange. Yes, it will. Actually, will it? Let me confirm that. But most likely, we'll try and find a special edition for Nomu holders. If you have questions, this is the AMA section. I hope you like what you heard. This was a big update. This is now the moment where, if you have any doubts, you can ask a question. I know they take a few minutes to come in, a few seconds. So let me see if I can spot them already live. Theo says he can confirm what I'm saying, which indeed is true. People clearly like the the Bullmates product. It is going to be fun. We are all very, very excited about it, and yeah, it's a crazy one. But so Nomu is like a layer one of Nomu future brands. So Nomu is a mother house of everything that we do. So and really what we want to give you as eventually as a community member is ownership of the mother house, where all the value accrues. But like any relatively decent sized company, they have different structures to make this efficient. So we're going to have Nomu Works, which is part of this same ecosystem, but that does the production of the products. Then you have Nomu, the platform that sells them, and it's all controlled by the same corporate structure, but it's all within the house. But yeah, so Nomu, I guess it can work as like a layer one for Nomu future brands, but not only, it's also for any other brands. So it's not just like what we're going to sell. It's we already sold Monkey DAO products, we already sold Deviant products. We're going to sell all sorts of products. It all happens within Nomu. Nomu is the Amazon of Web3. It's the layer one for RWA consumer products. If you want to sell the consumer product, Nomu is a great platform to do so. That's really the vision that we have. Huge loves the bold and beautiful vision. I thank you very, very much. It is bold indeed. I was a bit nervous, to be honest with you guys, to come here today and show you essentially a testicle cooler for saunas. But the magic happens in the strange and beautiful places, and I'm very confident that this is one of those products where really, instead of just selling 150 pairs of socks because they're Nomu branded, we can really sell hopefully several tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of these sauna products for anybody in the world that sees this as a concern. And the total addressable market for saunas is in the hundreds of millions of dollars a year. Like, it's a huge growth market. So it's very, very exciting. Will you build out distribution channels like retail or bundling in special outlets? So yes, it's definitely one of the strategies. But what's really exciting as well about building our own products like Bullmates is that we get to experiment a lot with what works and what doesn't. So as mentioned at one point, I'm going to become the first product manager of going back to my roots, of this specific product. And clearly, as you can see for Bullmate, it would make a lot of sense to sell that in spas around the world, or in like gyms that have saunas in there, and be like, hey, you're going to go to sauna, might as well protect your testicles, right? So, and that will give us a lot of learnings to have retail partners as well, maybe even secondary partners. So once the pre-sale is over Nomu, then the product just lives. It's a normal product. You helped by being early, by helping the product succeed, and then we might be able to find ways of you to be able to keep participating in the future. But really, at one point, the product needs to stand on its own. And so whether it's other distributions online or distributions in the real world, these are all channels that we can navigate through this and then incorporate them for future products and partner products that are not our own and that are our own. So there's a lot of cool things that can be done here, and we're going to learn empirically because we have to succeed with this product. So none of this is theoretical. All of it is very pragmatical and real. And so the question is the answer is definitely yes to that question. People who have a Nomu OG NFT will benefit from Nomu or Nomu sub brands when they're sold. Yes, that's the whole idea. How we structure it exactly and how exactly depends on legal questions, and then also on the unit economics of each product. So it won't always be the same per product, but ultimately, yes, that's the initial core vision that we had for the OG NFT. When we don't have a third-party partner like Monkey DAO, Deviant, and it's in-house, and like in this case, Nomu Works, then the OG community becomes the partner, so to speak. There's probably, I'm currently looking at what this entails legally. It probably will mean that you're going to have to stake your OG NFT. So it's a utility, and what we can't do clearly is give out dividends, right? Just based on an asset. So there's ways of doing it. We are currently making sure that we can do this the most compliant way possible from day one. And so I'll give you more details as it goes forward. But the short answer to that is yes. Le Sicilien can't wait to try. He says he's got a big pair. Well, great. We'll do an extra large size for Le Sicilien. If any of you guys go to a sauna or enjoy it, it's definitely a great product to have. It's also a great gift to give to someone if you know someone that enjoys going to sauna. If you don't go to sauna, you probably should. It's really, really great for you, and it's really healthy, especially if you do like ice bath and sauna together. Like the ice bath sometimes can be very hard on your body if you're not ready for it, but the sauna is just, the Finnish people have done it for centuries, and it's in a country that for like 6 months has no sunlight. Saunas is my guess that these guys managed to survive, because it's very hard in Arctic winters. So saunas are great. Simon says, okay, cool guys. Thank you very much for the compliments. What price would it be sold? We're currently looking at it. It will depend on a bunch of factors, but the idea is that it will be a very affordable product. If I had to put my finger in the air right now and give a guess, but please bear in mind it's a guess, it's going to be roughly around $20 to $30. And it's going to be, as everything we do at Gnome, is going to be extremely high quality. We did an alignment session with the team internally and be like, okay, what are our core values for products that we release internally? And the number one core value is the quality needs to be exceptional every single time. We do not do mediocre products. We don't do mediocrity, full stop. When we grind, we aim for the very, very best, and Ballmate will certainly not be an exception. Will Gnome Web 2 be like a stock? Well, equity is essentially a stock, right? So when you trade stocks, you trade company equities. Again, I can't tell you specifically how this will look like. The legal environment is changing as we speak as well, and it's going in the right direction, but we're certainly not there yet. But ultimately, yes, a stock, what's great is that you own the underlying company, right? And so when a company would, it doesn't have the big difference between a token and stock day to day is not really felt, because ultimately both are speculative assets. But the equity, what's very clear about it is that it allows you to have a safety blanket in knowing that A, you own the IP. So, and two, if the company gets liquidated, you get to share the assets of liquidation from that company. So it really gives you an underlying right to company IP, company treasury, company, all sorts of things, right? So that's what's really cool about equity and what makes it a powerful, simple instrument. Tokens are legally not allowed to do that. You know that from Borg token and Borg equity if you participate in Series A. My vision for this is really to try and unify them at some point when we can. And it doesn't mean that the token becomes equity, because that would mean the legal environment allowed us to do this. And just to give you a quick understanding of why companies do tokens that are not equity, the reason is you need to register with regulators around the world. The most famous one is the SEC in the US. And registering with the SEC costs, like if you don't do it properly, like you can do it for $500,000, which is like the cheaper way, but usually like if you don't do it the proper way, it costs several millions of dollars, usually like $2-3 million to do it. So and then there's a lot of burden on top of what needs to happen. The burden potentially, like it's acceptable because they will ask you to give yearly reports, etc., which makes a lot of sense, right? But like the upfront cost is just, and the time frame, it takes forever, it's prohibitive. So it really makes no sense for a startup to be able to do this. And that's been a big blocker. It's really the fact that the regulatory environment is behind technology. Today, tokens allow us to create a vehicle that would allow to give value back to people, but doing it through the old channels is just completely impossible for startups. And that's really where the whole friction is coming from. And we are sitting at the forefront of trying to navigate that and come out the best way possible. So Cecilia is on fire, I feel, today. They are the most precious things. If you are planning to become a father in the future, you gotta take care of your crown jewels. A lot of things in this modern world are against us, where it's microplastics or pesticides in food, sedentary lifestyles like me sitting around on a chair for 15 hours a day. All of the things are very bad for you. What you don't need is on top of that, when you take care of yourself, like going to the sauna, for that also to be bad for your fertility. I think I saw like sperm rate over the last 50 years has collapsed, right? Like it's like half of what it used to be when my father's generation, like when he created like 30, 40 years ago. So it's quite alarming, to be honest, what's happening to male fertility. And so it's something that's very relevant in the zeitgeist of today's young men. I feel it for sure. So everybody who wants to become a future dad, take care of them. So yeah. Okay. Boulon says hi. Linny says Jay. We got a few laughing faces in the chat. Simon is happy as well. Guys, we've been around now for more than an hour. Okay, we've got a couple more questions here. So the product will be distributed worldwide. Yes, that's the idea from day one. The same way that Monkey DAO, the plushies have been distributed worldwide, and the wine has been distributed worldwide. Know that distributing wine is very, very difficult because it's fragile, it's heavy, and it's alcohol. So it's 3 strikes against you of the bat, yet we managed to do it. Distributing other products that are not any of those things, it's much, much easier. And for Monkey DAO, for instance, we got the best shipping rates around the world. So Matt did an amazing job at helping us facilitate great shipping rates. And another team member that I haven't introduced it publicly yet, but it's called Luke. He's helping us a lot with warehousing and distribution from China. So yeah, the product will be distributed worldwide, and we're going to help. If you have a product, we're also going to help you distribute that worldwide from day one. So it's a part of the infrastructure and the service we provide to people that work with us and to do stores with Nomu. So that's part of the service that we're going to provide, and it's very, very exciting because we can scale that dramatically. I definitely know. I appreciate the kind words. It's very kind of you, Lucien. So yeah, I hope this was fun. A lot of condensed information. I'm going to ask Theo as well to make these slides public if you want to later on. You can go through them because it's a website which I'm scrolling through here. So yeah, was all done with AI as well, this presentation, which is very great because it allows me, it works much quicker, and it allows me to put a lot of cool things like the infographic here, which it's generated from real data. So I don't have to make it myself in Excel, which just does it for me. It's fantastic. So yeah, different format. I hope you guys liked it. I think visually it's kind of nice. And UG says we need to be careful about different regulations. Yeah, for sure, absolutely. We're compliant first. When you do e-commerce, there's a bunch of regulations. One, of course, is VAT compliance, tax compliance. That's something that we're looking into right now as well, and that we're able to help partners out with. But yeah, of course, compliance is number one. We don't plan to do things in an uncompliant way. Never have, never will. It's part of our ethos. So we do it the right way from day one, and that's how we started. So question from Simon here. People have to pre-buy the products, or can I buy it when everything is ready? I feel like it can be hard for people to wait 4 or 5 months to receive a product they bought. Yeah, for sure. It's a great question. So, but ultimately, that's really the value proposition that we offer through the. So, if you just buy a product and it comes tomorrow, you just buy a product and it comes tomorrow, right? But there's definitely a core vision of Nomu. Why we started is to say Kickstarter is broken. You or like even when you pre-buy Tesla, like let's say in 2008 when Elon Musk announced the Tesla for the first time, you paid for the Tesla Roadster. It was like $100,000 back then, and you waited. Even now, when you bought the Tesla Cybertruck, people waited 2-3 years. Some of them are still waiting for their Tesla, and eventually you get the car. You help Elon essentially get the money up front, produce the car, then sell it to you, and you got nothing in return. You just waited and got an outdated model when you get it. And Kickstarter is the same thing. So we're already solving that. So like if you pre-buy a product and you're willing to wait a bit of time because you're part from the journey from day one, and you actually provide a lot of value for the company, then you will get that future revenue and be able to win with the product in the future. It doesn't mean that model can't be applied to product that exists, and for sure there's ways of doing it, and we're currently thinking about it, but it's what we need to be respectful of is the real value creation and distribution that's happening. If you don't create value, or if you just create the value of a consumer, then that's fine. But if you create the value of an early believer, that's much bigger than consumer, because you really help that company succeed by being early, providing revenue to create the product and to distribute it. So those will have to be adjusted, but for sure, ultimately, this can work for day-to-day purchases as well, but most likely the terms will be less favorable than for pre-purchases. As in everything in life, there's a trade-off, right? So in this case, you're willing to wait, you're willing to be early, and willing to win with the product in the future. So if you just buy a product, it can still work, but it'll probably be less. I hope that answers the question as well. Theo needs the link. I'm going to send it to you, mate. No worries. Just after the call, because right after this call, Theo is going to do the same thing in French. So if you still have questions ou tu veux simplement savoir les réponses en français, n'hésite pas to tune into Theo's no, I was going to Open Kitchen. French Shrimp Talk, where he's going to talk to you much more about all of this as well. And Kote Sushi, we'll still plan to do a franchise. Yeah, the Kote Sushi is essentially the same thing as well. We'd love to do the Kote Sushi franchise. Again, it's hard because regulatory wise, it's not easy. So if you remember, like the last Open Kitchen I did at the beginning of the year, we said, okay, we're first going to do the gacha machines, which we now did. Then we're going to do upside sharing structures, like we're going to do now with Bull made as the first one, and then all the other ones. And it's going to be the next version of Nomu. And eventually we're going to be able to do ownership structures, because a franchise is really you becoming a franchise, not an owner in the strict sense, but you are within the beneficiary owners of that company by receiving value back with a very tight legal contract. So that's much harder to do. It's definitely one of my visions, and the Kote Sushi team, we still have a group together with them, but it's not something that can happen straight away. So I've been very transparent to you about this. From like last time, nothing has changed. We are now executing a second part of what I said on the last Open Kitchen. Things are happening quicker than expected as well, because everything's shifting underneath our feet. But ultimately, yes, ownership structures, it's what's really, really cool. And so all of the things are definitely possible and will happen. But like, again, step by step, this is now a new big step for us. We're releasing 2 brand new products, growing the ecosystem vastly. And then the next step is going to be ownership structures. All right, guys, if you enjoyed this session, I want you to follow Simon's example and drop a huge Wagyu in the comments. It would mean the world to me. I hope you find this informative. Again, we're not going to do this too often, but when I do them, I'm going to try and come with everything I have at you and answer all your questions, give you all the alpha, show you really where the vision is going, how we're going to execute. So you guys are the forefront of this ecosystem core of the Nomu closed circle, which really this is. So thank you so much for your attention. Thank you for being part of this journey, and know that forever our top priority is aligning the value of what we do with our community. You guys, the token right now is holding up pretty well compared to the market, even though it suffered greatly, of course, like everything else. But we're going to keep trading on that as well. We're going to take care of OG NFTs. This is going to first tangible example of it. So things are falling into place. We're executing as working relentlessly at this, the whole team. The vision is very, very clear. So I think the next 6 months are going to be very, very exciting. Again, everything changes super, super fast. So I'm going to keep you up to date. I'm going to try and keep you in the loop as well with the newest versions of tech, everything that's happening. And yeah, I see a lot of Wagyus coming through. Wagyu, Carlos, thank you so much. Thank you to Sicilien as well. Chris in the house, one of the magicians behind the scenes. Thank you, sir, for all you do. Sander, thank you, of course, as well. Big Wagyu from Joseph. Simon, thank you. Wagyu Boulan as well, beautiful Boulan. Le Sicilien, huge Wagyu as well. No, huge goes back with a big normal. Guys, much, much, much love. Thank you so, so much. I see you in the next one. Any of you have any questions, you know where to find us. Come to our Telegram, ask the questions. Let us know if you want to launch a product with Nomu. This is what we made for. If not, in very shortly, Theo will see